Hello and welcome back, and welcome to the start of League Racing on F1 2021. So this is PSGL season 29 now, here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first round in the championship. So yeah, back once again then. New teammate, new challenge. As you see, we're in the Williams this season with Will LG25. Hopefully it's going to be a good one. So most noticeably, we've not got Wilson in, who's taking a break. I think he wants to go to PC. So that opens it up for someone else to really become the champion of this season. So it's going to be a very interesting one. But we'll get straight into the action here. As you can see in the background, we've only got 9 minutes left of the actual session, and I'm only on my first run, which I've invalidated. So yeah, you're probably thinking, why am I doing that? But as the case is with me and Bahrain in particular, the ultimate strategy is quite powerful, and unless you're sort of in the top 3, I don't think it's really worth going on the soft at all. So that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for 11th really, but so yeah, we're just going to do a banker lap just to see where we are, make sure we back off a little bit so we're not too fast. But yeah, currently I think the pole time is, well, from the first runs people have done, I think it's a 24.5 from the first runs, so that's, I guess, a benchmark, but it doesn't really matter for us so far. But yeah, this lap I've left in because to be honest, it's quite a good lap. I'm nearly 3 tenths up, well, I am 3 tenths up now, coming round the tricky turn 10 hairpin, over 3 tenths up. So yeah, this is a pretty good lap, and I was quite tempted, to be honest, while setting this lap, to actually set the time, because I think it would be quite high up on the grid. And you can see 4.5 tenths up now, nearly 5 tenths. As we come into the second sector split, it's going to be a 3.5, which, over purple in the middle sector, I think this would probably get us provisional pole at this moment in the session. I think it most likely, given the first lap was a 25.0, this is probably going to be a 0.4 for us to set. So I was tempted to set it, but as you can see, we come around the final corner and back off, just so we've got a time to aim for, to do a 25.0 in the end. So yeah, it was a pretty decent first run, it would have been anyway, but we backed off, and luckily we ended up perfectly in P11. But yeah, coming into the session, we're going to need to improve because we're down in P15 now, and this is quite tricky actually to aim for the P11 spot, which I really wanted. You can see there's a lot of time to gain, obviously, around this last corner from the previous lap backed off. I'm going to have to back up again because I'm going to be way too fast otherwise. As we do an 8.24, which gets us P13, half a tenth off 11. So that's what we need to find. I was speaking to engineers at the time in the party to know exactly what time I needed to do. And I know I needed half a tenth on this lap, so that's the aim. As you can see, we pretty much got that now, but we definitely don't want to go over that, because then we will end up P10, which is probably the worst place to start on the whole grid. So we're going to come around this final corner. We're pretty good so far, but we know we lifted here on the previous lap, so we're going to lift again, and we lift far too much, and yeah, completely messed it up annoyingly, but it is what it is. I was really annoyed actually after I did that, but it's P14. It's not ideal, but it's not too bad. If I'd have gone P10, it would have been a lot worse. So in the end, there was a tenth in it that I could have gained, but it's for P11. But it's P14 on the grid, P12 for Will G in the Williams as well. So it's a good qualifying, and I think there's a good potential for us to do well. But we'll get straight on into the race then. I think easy medium soft strategy for the ultimate strategy on this game. But the lights are going to go out now, and as you can see, we get an absolutely insane start. We're already up into P12, up to P11 as we come into the first corner. We need to take it nice and easy, although we do brake quite late. This car's sort of off in front of us. We're very, very lucky to not get damaged from the Ferrari or Haas, I believe it was, ahead. But yeah, we settled down into P11, and yeah, it was all a bit quick really. I was a bit confused as to what happened, as we've got Christmas trying to go around there outside, but we now the lead alternate strategy runner. But yeah, I know a lot of you probably thinking, what on earth was that start? And I was thinking that as well at the same time. As you can see now, put a replay of slow motion, and we definitely get the lights going out very slightly earlier than everyone else. And I think this is probably because I'm the host. I know this was a thing on the previous game as well, which is not great. I didn't really know what to do because I wasn't expecting it to happen. But yeah, at this point in the lap, I was asking my engineers like, am I going to get a penalty obviously for the start, or do I need to get the positions back, or what? I really didn't know what to do, but in the end we decided to just carry on. It's annoying that a situation like that happens because obviously realistically nothing like that would happen, but yeah, we're just going to take it as it is and take the 11th position we've got. So we've gained 3 places off the start, which is obviously perfect for our race, but not obviously how we want to gain them. But yeah, skip on to lap 3 then. We've got Duncan and Ogiano in the pits, who I think got damage, so they're going to pit quite early on. I'd imagine they're going to be out of it for the majority of this race unless there's any sort of safety car or anything. But what that does do is makes it kind of annoying for us. We don't have DRS, so we're pushing it quite hard on the ERS. As you can see, we're pulled away from Christmas behind by doing that, and that's allowed Will G, our teammate, the perfect opportunity to attack Christmas and try and make the move. And I think you'll see on the position indicator on the left hand side, he does get that move done, so that worked pretty much perfectly, us pushing and allowing the space for Will to make the move. So yeah, that worked well. We did a purple first sector, so we are pushing to try and get into the DRS, so we can just chill out a little bit more. We're using quite a lot of DRS in this lap, but yeah, we skip a little bit later onto lap 6, and we're not quite in the DRS yet. We're very, very close, and I think we do just about get into it coming into turn 10. But yeah, we pulled out on Will and Christmas behind. We've got about a 2-second gap, so we're looking really, really good on this alternate strategy so far compared to everyone else. We're the only ones that's really in the DRS, and you can see skipping to the end of lap 6, we're definitely within the DRS zone now, and we should hopefully get towed along for a few laps, and it should enable us to save a little bit of our battery. But skipping to lap 9, Asicombe and M Short getting a bit close together. I think M Short was really struggling at this stage. He qualified quite high up, but yeah, he's falling quite a lot in the race. I'm not sure what Asicombe was doing here, weaving a little bit, very quite early as well, which was not ideal, and that's losing us so much time. I think the gap to Christmas was about 3 seconds, but yeah, as you see, it's coming down quite a lot, so we really need to get through, or they need to pick the pace up big time here, because otherwise all of the time I've made up on the other medium runners is just going to disappear. But at the end of that lap, they do come into the pit lane, so we're now in clean air. I'm going to go up into P3. There's 2 more people that have not pit yet, but yeah, we've managed to, the gap came down to Christmas to about 1.3 seconds before that pit stop, so it did sort of undo a little bit of our work, but yeah, we definitely still got the gap. And you see we're skipping all the way to lap 17 now, because nothing really happened just on our own for this entire stint, but we've got the gap up to about 3 seconds to the cars behind, so the pace was very good, and it definitely allowed us to make the strategy a little bit easier for ourselves. So yeah, we're coming on lap 17 mainly because of the tyre wear. Really, I was on 75% wear on the mediums. I was quite surprised that I didn't think I'd be this high, but yeah, otherwise I'd have let Will hit the lap before me because I had the gap, but yeah, I didn't want to risk the puncture or anything. So unfortunately Will's going to have to stay out an extra lap. He's probably going to lose a few positions from the undercut for that, which is not ideal for him, but I guess as the lead car you've got to take the pit stop you want. So, but yeah, anyway, come out in P13 then, about a second behind Duncan, who we need to dispatch of relatively quickly. I think he does have damage from the start of the race. You can see halfway around that lap, got the inside, and it's a pretty easy move. So up into P12, we've got about 4 seconds to M Short, and then as you see on the minimap, the big long train to the leaders. So that's our challenge towards the end of the race. I'm not sure, well, I wasn't sure at all how far up I really could get in the remaining stages of this race, but we caught up to M Short relatively easily within the next sort of 2 laps, and we're going to make the move down the straight. You can see his light flashing. He's got no ERS to play with, so I'm going to go down the inside, pretty easy, into the braking zone. Up to P8 then, and the next one up is Asicombe. So the main point during this stage of the race was to not use any ERS unless I need to, so I've got it to attack when I catch up to the people that have DRS, which is now. So we can use the DRS now to try and overtake Asicombe here, and he doesn't really defend it either, which is nice. So we're going to get up the inside. Yeah, I'll try and save the DRS down the rest of this straight, because I don't need to use it. as we are more than enough along the inside, and we have the fresh tyres. So coming down this next straight, I saw Xander's light flashing, his red light, which means he's got less than 10% of ERS, and once again taking advantage of that straight down the inside, and that could be pretty crucial actually towards the end of this race, making those 2 moves on the next 2 straights. So we're making very, very good progress now. So the next stage for us to catch up to is the top 5. We've got Casper up next. Now I imagine Casper would probably defend this harder than the majority of the others, because he had the freshest tyres. He fit quite late onto his mediums, but to my surprise, he doesn't really defend that much actually. So we get down the inside quite easily, and we've still got at least 30% ERS to really attack with down the straight. So we're not looking too bad, and we've still got over 6 laps remaining to, well, potentially pass 4 cars and actually win this race, which would be quite something. But yeah, the next car up is the Haas of Fuzilo, who I think is going to be a little bit harder to overtake. As you can see, the rear end is starting to drop now. So these tyres, they don't last forever. The last few laps of the stint, I can guarantee that there will be very poor. But yeah, as you can see on the exit, we didn't get a good exit, so we couldn't really make a move. But can we get the traction out of turn 3 here? We do get a decent-ish drive. We're going to use some overtake, but you can see we're not really gaining a lot, and he seemed quite fast on a straight line. So yeah, at this point we are kind of stuck here, and we really need to get through in order to allow us to get any higher in this race. So through the chicane, we're going to have a look to the left here, and he goes slightly defensive, but we're going to duck down to the inside, and I was quite proud of that move at the time, but he gets the switch back quite nicely. We're going to use the RS, and we should have the inside line for turn 10, and that gets us the move done. So up into P4, and now we're looking at the podium for the next few places. Still 5 laps remaining, and you can see the leader just there. He's only about a second up on where we are now, so there's huge potential in this race if we can carry on this momentum. But yeah, as you can see, the soft tyres are 40% now. They're going to really start to fall off in the next few laps, and it's going to become increasingly harder to make any sort of manoeuvres. But down this back straight, we're going to use a little bit of the ERS to try and close in on Mitchie, and if we can get a good drive around the final corner, which we do pretty good, and we're going to use the ERS again and see what sort of straight line speed we have. He's not going to defend it really, as we're going to go up the inside, and this should be, once again, a relatively simple move if we can get it right on the brakes. Down the inside into turn 1. We've got VLT George's lagging slightly, which sort of put me off. Bit of a snap on the exit, but we are going to get the move done up into position number 3. So at this stage we're running out of ERS to play with, running out of tyres to play with, so positions are going to start to get harder, but there's only two positions left to make for the race win, and I could see it there. I really wanted to make it, but yeah, we skip on a lap later behind George's, and you can see it's becoming increasingly hard to get close, and he was very fast in the straight line, and yeah, the 2 drivers ahead definitely had a lot more ERS and stuff to play with at this stage, so it's going to be very difficult to overtake. As you can see, once again, he just pulls away really on the straight, so we need to get a bit more inventive and to see where we can make the manoeuvre. But yeah, end of lap 26, we are quite close this time, so we're going to use the ERS, but once again, you can just see him blast off into the distance, so we're going to turn it off and just try and make sure we have enough to use when we have the best opportunity to overtake. So we get quite good traction out of turn 2 here, turn 1 and 2, so this was definitely an opportunity, and now we're really close. We're going to put the ERS on. Annoyingly, I missed the DRS here. I didn't realise I didn't have it on until about halfway down the straight. But we're going to brake a little bit earlier than him, try and do the switch back and see if we can get the under and over on him up the inside, and we are going to get up into P2 then, so that's crucial for the end of this race. And now there's only one more target on the list in order to stop us winning this race, and it is in the form of CRG Blizzard. 3 laps to go, or 2.5 laps. Can we really get close and potentially challenge Blizzard? But as you can see, the gap is 8 tenths. These tyres really dying at this stage, and I know for a fact with how he drives, he's definitely got a lot of battery to play with. So on to lap 27. This is the best opportunity we have now early on in this stint. So You can see the amount of gain on the straights with the DRS is very, very powerful on this game. Coming around turn 1, can we make any sort of manoeuvre up into turn 4? We're going to get decent traction with the DRS engaged once again, but we're definitely not close enough. So we're not going to use the battery. We're going to try and hold on until the next available opportunity. We're just going to hold on through this middle sector split. As you can see, sliding a little bit more now on these soft tyres. We're really struggling to keep up. You can see 60% on the tyre indicator. So yeah, they're really starting to struggle, and I think the hards are definitely going to become the favourable tyre towards the end of this race. So we're just trying to stick with, as you can see, the gap keeps going up, and then going on to the last lap, which is really where we need to be making the moves. The gap's up to 8 tenths, and I think unfortunately Blizzard might just be ahead on this one. So, but we're not going to give up. We'll keep the pressure on. You see, braking really late into turn 1. Can we just do anything? Maybe get Blizzard a penalty under the pressure or anything. But yeah, he's a wise head. And as we come around the final corner on the last lap, we're not going to be able to make any sort of manoeuvre. But we're going to come across the line. Then Blizzard is going to win. We're going to come across the line in P2, and it's going to be George's on his debut, who takes P3. So yeah, very, very close, and towards the end, the strategy working pretty much perfectly to what I wanted it to. It was obviously going to be a risk starting outside the top 10 in terms of winning, but yeah, very good strategy to get driver of the day in the end. But yeah, pretty decent opener. Couldn't really want for much more, at least. So we've got the P2 and a CRG 1-2 as well, so that's very good. As we'll skip onto the final classifications now, as you can see, CRG 1-2 with myself and Blizzard. It's also a British 1-2, which is nice to see. You don't get many British league races really anymore. So, but yeah. Anyway, Will G, my teammate, getting his first points ever in F1 as well. So it's a good day really overall for Williams, and I think that puts us into P2 in the championship. So we're looking fairly good, but. Yeah, it's just unfortunate really about the start. I did add the time on at the end. You can see I finished 1.2 behind Blizzard, so it adds the few temps that I gained on at the end, but of course that's nothing compared to what you gain, so it's annoying, and hopefully you can sort that by the next race. But yeah, until the next race, I'm not doing France as I'm away, so it'll be round 3 I'll be back for. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy these highlights. It was a good race, very enjoyable, and I will catch you next time for some more PSGL action.